Before we go into the seriousness of this whole topic, can we talk about the not so serious things, because we are known as the high and fire. Is that true?
No, absolutely.
Sometimes it depends.
It depends.
But it's not only that. That's
no,
the
but
thing.
then people see us as that. Because whenever you say I work in HR, oh,
That's
you
it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then you ask people, okay, right? Then they say anything. Someone has been sexually harassed, and now you're asked to keep quiet because someone who is superior has done whatever that they have done. So do you keep quiet? Do you not keep quiet? What is the right thing to do?
Can we not have an environment in an organization where your employees don't know what it is that is expected of them? Can they know, so that when they get into trouble, if they do, then at least they know what the process is and they know what the consequences are?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, welcome to Couch Talk with LHS. My name is Newambele, aka Boss Lady, and I'm here with Zanele Butelezi, aka Zanzi, as well as Wipilo Mulelengwani, aka Marcus Bono. Please don't ask me where that comes from. It's there.
Ask no questions.
No lies. So, ladies, our topic for today is intro and the role of HR. So, I guess people want to know, why do we exist in specific companies? Why are we there? Are we just there as hire and fire? Before we go into the seriousness of this whole topic, can we talk about the not so serious things? Because we are known as the hire and fire. Is that true?
No, absolutely.
Sometimes it depends.
It depends.
But it's not only that. That's
no,
the
but
thing.
then people see us as that. Because whenever you say I work in HR, oh,
That's
you
it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then you ask people, okay, right? Then they say anything. So I should also guess which career would be suitable for your profile, which is unfair, honestly speaking. Hey? But yeah, most people know us as a hire and fire kind of people, but that's not true.
And immediately when you say to an employee, you're going to set up a meeting with HR, they already think, I'm in trouble, I'm going to get fired. And it's not always the case.
Yes. Yes.
There's multiple facets to HR, and there's so many things. And then I think highlighting that also just goes to show that people don't even see what we're really there for.
Yes.
Because as HR, we're not just there for management, but we're there for employees as well. If I'm in HR, Zanella should be able to come to me and say, yo, people, I have a problem with 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
I need assistance with 1, 2, 3. Then I'm there to be the guide. I think it's something that we're also going to touch into. Like, what is HR? You're also a guide. You're there to support, to assist, and to provide guidance. And sometimes, I think you should be so open when people are able to come to you, even if it's not really work related, but they know, if I can speak to this person, even if they can't provide that assistance, but they can provide somebody else or provide light in terms of, okay, maybe you can try this, or maybe you can try speaking to this person. So yeah, we need to relook, and to also just for people also to understand that we're there for so many things.
Sure.
Can I maybe just say that we need to tackle it in 3 different ways? Because when you're saying what you just said now, people, it's raising a lot of questions. When we were still young, when I was still studying, it's not like a long time ago. It's not a long time
Now that I'm old.
I'm still young.
I am still young. Just so that I put it out there. But I mean, when you fresh out of school, I mean, these are the things that I've also heard previously. You know, why did you go into HR? Oh, HR is so easy. HR is not easy.
It's not.
So I want us to tackle it from a point of view of advising young people from a standpoint of employees as well as employers. Because at this point, I mean, my previous clients or employers would know that I play devil's advocate. So if you're an employer, you are wrong. We would have a conversation just to say, based on this, this would work better for the business. This would also work better for the employee. When you're speaking to the employee, what was your role in this? So I'm not just going to listen and mislead you. I'm going to listen and guide you to the to the right thing, or assist you in terms of how to handle your problems.
And it's not about sides also. People have this thing, no, you're always on management side, or you're always on the employee side.
What is
No,
right, what
as
is
HR,
wrong?
you are on the right side. So you stand with what is right, and it doesn't have to be with employees just because you say you're supporting the employee. No, if the employee is wrong, is wrong. What you're saying is right now. If the employer is also wrong, as HR, you have to say to the employer, but you're wrong. Make them see. You have to be the middle person. You're the middle ground, actually, that controls both parties.
True, I have to agree because we actually prevent some of the cases going to CCMA by doing that. So if HR people don't do their work, then we end up with CCMA cases because you failed to prevent that particular incident from happening.
Exactly.
If I see that you're doing something that could lead us to go to a CCMA case, or that could lead to someone possibly resigning because of what you're doing, I should be upfront with you and say, look, what you're currently doing right now, it's not acceptable, it's not wrong. This is how you should be handling this particular situation. So we serve as advisors, we serve as teachers, we also serve as detectives. Because
Don't make us
because some instances need you to properly investigate and find out the root of whatever that has led to that particular conversation. And then you don't just take Bibilo's side because you are friends with, that's another thing we're going to need to go and tackle, I'm friends with Bibilo, so I'm trying to protect Bibilo, and now I'm compromising my own ethics and my own professionalism because now I'm friends with Bibilo. But now I can't distinguish the difference between what is right, what is acceptable, and that's what we need to be standing for as HR people. Then you have people who are friends with employees. Now comes us wearing that detective hat, and they're trying to protect them. We can actually avoid these things. You need to be friendly with everyone, but not be friends with everyone.
Okay,
Right?
so you're saying as HR shouldn't have any friends in the workplace?
I'm saying they should be friendly with everyone, but not have friends. Yes.
Fair enough, I agree with that, because at times you might without even you realizing, might share sensitive or confidential information. And again, if you see me with, for example, with Bibilo all the time, with you as an employee, would you be comfortable in sharing information with me? So we need to be cognizant of, different facets and different things in the organization. So can I then say, just to confirm what we are saying, or the role of HR, we play multiple hats in an environment.
Yes.
And the role of HR has changed from previously, where we were known as a paper-based back office. You need to file. Something goes wrong.
Yes.
So we are really a crucial or an important stakeholder within management. Or within the organization rather, because our role is interlinked with different departments in HR. So like I said, we're going to tackle it from the angle of giving advice to people that don't know, or maybe people that are already in matric that don't know which direction to take. Do they need to take, is there a possibility of growth in HR space, which I would say yes, because we tackle a lot of things as part of our role. There's also recruitment, there's employee relations, there's payroll department, there's
Training and development.
There's
IR.
Exactly.
There's a lot of
So there's a lot of things that
Tech. Also, you'll find an HR analyst. You'll find a lot of actually tech related, especially now with
Industry 4.0.
for IR. You'll find a lot of things that are now data and analytics in HR, which is something that you never thought possible, but it's actually there.
We actually are strategic partners,
Yes.
because we need to be involved in anything and everything that happens within the organization, because at the end of the day it affects us. So we are the center of each and every organization. That's why it's always important to have either an HR person or an HR department, because we involved in all these things, and unfortunately we just that. So it's the unfortunate part is that most people only know the hire and fire, because that's where the process starts. It starts with us starting the recruitment process, and unfortunately it also ends, the life cycle of an employee ends with the exit process, which then associates, most people would then associate us with that.
So initially then we are high on fire with other things in the mix. But the hiring part, like you said, we are a strategic partner, right? Because in order for business to continue, you need employees, right? If you get the incorrect resource in your business, then it's still not going to work. Because yes, you may have people, but if they don't match your strategic directions, then it's defeating the purpose. That's where we come in. Because as an HR person, you also need to, as much as I'm doing HR, I need to understand different departments, because how do I hire for an IT if I don't understand what they are doing and what the requirement of the business is? Okay, all right. So we've covered then our hiring and firing. So at the back of our minds, we would say yes to a certain degree. So what are our limits as human beings or as HR practitioners? What are our limits? Because at times I feel like HR practitioners are pushed to the limits. We are asked at times to do certain things that are not ethical. I'll give you an example. We had, I'm not going to mention names based on the POPI Act, but this is just one of the things that I've experienced back then. We had dismissed an employee, but to CCMA, employee said as part of the settlement, they would want us to change the dismissal reason why they were dismissed.
That's kind of good.
Yeah. So I need to, in order for them not to require certain things, I need to change it from dismissal to a resignation. And right there, because we always preach ethics, I think we need to go back to the values of Letari. Ethics is very important. I said no. So continue with your case, let's continue with our case, but I'm not going to allow to be pushed into certain things that are incorrect or that I may at times, because we are IR specialists as well, say to an employee, I want to find you guilty for this, but you're doing the exact same thing.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think our limits are, or limits should be as HR people?
I think it has to do with ethics, right? If you know that it is right, stick to what is right. If you know that it is wrong, don't do it. Because you do it once, you have to do it for everyone else. And you now can't be a credible person as an HR person and a trusted person because of what you've done in the past. And unfortunately, we are human, there's consciousness, and so you're always going to feel guilty about certain things that you have done. So why even bother going there?
Exactly.
So if it's right, do it. If it's not right, do not do it.
And I think with now pertaining to, because Noah's already made an example for an employee, right? Now pertaining to management as well, because like you're also saying, if you do it once, you're going to have to do it all the time. And with management, unfortunately, and it is a reality that we've seen, once you open the door, there's no going back.
Yes.
If they come to you and then say, do 1, 2, 3, or let's say maybe they institute a disciplinary hearing against somebody that didn't even deserve to go there, and they want to force your hand to dismiss that person, whereas it's not like that. If you do it once, it's always going to hang over your head.
Yes.
So you need to also be able to say, but this is not my job. My job is to do the right thing. We investigate. If it's warranted, then definitely it's warranted. Without a doubt, I'm going to do it. But if it's not warranted, I'm not going to do it. And you close that door, and it also then stops them as well from future. They know, I won't even try that with now because she's not going to do that.
So are we saying then some HR people or HR professionals are doing certain things that they don't want out of fear because the instruction comes from management, or am I going to lose my job because I'm not doing a certain thing?
But wouldn't you rather, I think, well, for me, I will say that if the truth is on your side, stand for anything.
Of course.
If I'm going to lose my job because I was doing the right thing,
Then
it's
so
okay.
be it.
I'll stand for
So be
it.
it.
Rather than having to not be blackmailed all the time. Yeah, you're going to do this because you did this for ABC.
True.
So you're always going to have to do that. When is it going to stop? And how are you even going to stop it if you allowed it from the beginning? Yes, we get that. Okay, let's say for example, you are the boss of company ABC, right? And Zanele is your employee. Bibula is another employee of yours. And then you come to me and say, I want to give Zanele a raise. It's the middle of the year. We know that we do raises in January. Zanele hasn't even done anything to warrant a raise. You know that there may be underlying factors, and then you do it. What are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you saying?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same as issues concerning to sexual harassment, for example.
If
It's a topic on its own. It requires its own show.
you mean because your ethics are tested a lot today.
Of course.
Someone has been sexually harassed and now you're asked to keep quiet because someone who is superior has done whatever that they have done. So do you keep quiet? Do you not keep quiet? What is the right thing to do? Do an investigation. find out what really happened. And if the person is wrong, regardless of their position, they should take accountability for their action, and there should be consequences. Because we can't say that we've got policies and procedures, but those policies and procedures only apply only to certain people. Then why do we have those policies in place? Because the reason why we have policies and procedures is to ensure that there's fairness in the organization and everyone is treated in the fair way, in the fair manner. So whether you're a senior, whether you're a junior person, you should also be following those policies and procedures. So,
can I ask?
Yeah.
So if Bibelo comes to you and says, I've been sexually harassed by Neo, right? And I think it's the perfect example because people think it can happen with same-sex people as well.
Sure.
So I've been sexually harassed by Neo, right? But the company does not have a sexual harassment policy.
Isn't that reason enough to start drafting those kind of policies? Isn't it reason enough to investigate that particular matter? Because whether there's a policy or there's no policy, something wrong happened, can we fix it and then going forward start having those policies in place so that we protect our employees?
Especially because I think I was just making that example, right, because of a similar scenario that I know. But with sexual harassment, it's one of the things that you always have the law guiding you. There is a sexual harassment act in South Africa. So if you don't have a policy, you apply the act.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Yes. And you also don't want your employees to feel uncomfortable. That's one of the most uncomfortable things people can, experience. So immediately when you have been sexually harassed, there's certain things that now you can't do. You can't say. Some people would even leave their jobs, not having another job, but only because I'm no longer comfortable in that particular space. So you don't want to create that environment. And if you let it slide once, that person, because they never took accountability, they're going to do it again to someone else. Then it becomes a cycle. Then how many more good people are going to lose in organizations just by protecting one person?
And it's unfortunate it happens. I mean, we Bibelo's question is coming from, if you are in a small environment or a small company where there is no HR person, who do I talk to? How do I refer my matter? It still happens with big corporates where they are HR people, but they are mum about certain things. Their voice is not heard because of maybe the culture of the environment, or maybe they know how certain things are going to just be put under the carpet. Right. So what we are saying then again, second one, is that our role is being an advisor to both management and employees. Right? Just so that at least they know what's expected of them, they know certain things and boundaries that we cannot cross as HR people or HR professionals. Because I mean, you guys raised very important things. The reason why we are there is also to protect the company. We mentioned that. We are avoiding certain CCMA cases, so if things are done correctly, then we don't have to go through to CCMA, because our employees, they are well educated, they know policy, which is very important. We also need to have a conversation about, I think all these topics are coming. We need to have a topic about, I think our next topic would be about toxic working environments. We also need to have a topic about induction. Can we educate our employees?
Sure.
Can we not have an environment in an organization where your employees don't know what it is that is expected of them? Can they know, so that when they get into trouble, if they do, then at least they know what the process is and they know what the consequences are.
That's very, very important.
Because somebody can do something and say, I didn't know I was not supposed to do that.
Exactly.
And let's be sorry.
We get that even if they wait for it. We get that even if they go for induction. It's normal, I guess.
You know what I'm thinking? Ne? I'm thinking about a certain employee that was sleeping at work and said, I didn't know I was not supposed to do that. Like, let's be realistic. You can't be sleeping at work.
Exactly. And some of these things are general rules, like stealing at work. If you steal, we can actually go to the police and report you and open a case against you. So what more when you steal when you are at work? Coming back to the issue of induction, which is going to be a topic, just to highlight a few things also when it comes to that, right? It's also important to document those kind of conversations. Because, like you said, someone can come back and say, but I didn't know. So when you go through the disciplinary process and whatnot, those are the documents that we would need to substantiate to say, look, this person has been inducted. This person knows the rules. Maybe they've been given a warning here and there pertaining to something similar or the very same charge. So it's not as if we're just saying that you did this, then goodbye. So it's important to have those conversations with our employees so that they are well aware of the consequences of certain actions that they would take at some point in time.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've touched on the role, even though we didn't go in detail with it, but I mean, it opened up a lot of things to show that HR functions are related. You know, so there's certain things, if you do this in an incorrect way, it affects other departments or other functions of the HR department. So I think maybe just in closing, we should maybe just from your side, Bibelo, is there anything that you want to say?
Okay, well, from my side, I think, and now I want to go back to something that you said earlier, right? To say that HR is not, we're not dull, number one. We're not boring, number two. Number three, we are not
we're not fun as marketing. We're not as fun as marketing.
We're not as fun as marketing trust. We're not a last choice, and I think this is now also going to, like, it's something that you said we'll also touch in at a later stage. But like, for example, with students that you find they're going into HR because it's the only course available when you get to tertiary, but let it not be like that, guys. Please come into it because it's something that you love, it's something that you're passionate about, because otherwise you are going to get bored, you are going to get frustrated. But I think for us, you can come and ask the people in our building, it's a fun day every day because it's something that we do love, it's something that we are here for. So I think as a tip, but this is just now a general tip for everybody to say, go into something that you love, go into something that you adore, be here because you want to be here.
Sure. Now I have to agree with Bibelo on that, right? Because some people choose careers because it's the last option that I have. However, you spend 3 years, for example, just obtaining your degree. Then you have to do your honors. Now you've got 4 years if you did your honors in a 1 year period. You've got 4 years that you were studying, but you're studying for something that you're not passionate about. It was the last option. That was the only spot that was left. But what happens for the rest of your life, because now you've made one simple
Now you're
wrong
going to
decision.
frustrate us because we have to deal with poor performance because
Exactly.
you're doing something that you don't love.
Exactly. And then you find that now you have to interact with HR, you have to interact with people. We are human resources, right? So you have to interact with people, you're not a people's person, for example. People come to you with problems and you can't solve those problems because you're thinking, but I've got my own. When you're HR, you put your own problems aside and you focus on other people's problems. You become an advisor, you become a teacher, you know, you become so many things that people take for granted.
Do you see the passion I was talking about?
It has to show, right? Because those people are there thinking that when I go to HR, I must have a solution. Whether it's something that is HR related or something that is business or related, but they already think. For example, someone came to me last time and said, my child is having a child, and my child is so young. They're still in primary and they're having a child. I don't know what to do. It's not something that is HR related, but it is affecting her work at the end of the day. And we're going to go to performance reviews because you now are under performing, and it's something that we could have prevented by having that conversation with you to say, how do you deal with those things? That's where things such as employee wellness come in. I have problems at home, but because I can't separate my home to my work, now I'm carrying all those problems to my work, which then affects my performance. So how do we deal with such things? So if you're going to choose a career based on it's a last minute thing, I didn't prepare for it, then you're going to struggle when it comes to such things, right? So I do totally agree with Bibelo there. There's so many things in HR that we need to be aware of, and people just think, no, it's going to be an easy career. It's not an easy career. We go through so many phases in a day. We go through depression in a day, and you have to snap out of it. Very quickly because it's not about you, you know, very quickly. Sometimes it gets overwhelming because Bibelo would come with her problems. Immediately after that, Noah is coming with her problems. Zanet is coming with her problems. By the end of the day, you feel like you're so exhausted because it affects you as a person also. So think about all of those things before choosing your career, because you're not only going to be hiring and firing.
True. I think I agree with both of you, right? Very important when you go into HR, you have to be selfless. because you're going to hear things that are going to break you as a person. And at the end of the day, you still need to be strong for that particular person as well. And I think when employees come to us, it's not always about seeking advice. They just want to be heard at times. Even if you're just there, I want you to show me that you hear me. Maybe I might say certain things when she gets out or when he gets out. You might say, you didn't help, but you heard me. Because we might not always be right, but they just want to be heard. They want to feel like they matter.
Exactly.
Because a lot of us are dealing with a lot of things in all honesty. Another topic, mental health, that we need to go into, because we are dealing with a lot of things. So if you're an HR person, you need to wear a lot of hats. Can I tell you something? I used to have we used to have a client that owns schools, right? So most of the employees, when they come to me, they always say, I didn't think that I was going to be hired. Because when you are in an interview, you are a different person. That's one of the hats I need to wear. Because in an interview, I am not looking for somebody that I like.
Yes.
I am not there to look for somebody that I like. There's a difference between being firm and being rude. I am there to fulfill the role that I have to achieve the strategic objective of the company. And I'm there as focused as I am for certain things. And I want to hear what we want to hear. And afterwards, I usually say, when you're part of the company or when you're already in, then it's a different person. They're like, but we didn't know you like this. You weren't supposed to. You know, we wear a lot of hats, so we need to be trusted as well. Because like I said, employees come with a lot of information, a lot of things that they're struggling with, personal problems. Management comes to us seeking advice. Sometimes when management would ask us to do certain things or make certain decisions, at times they don't know. It's our responsibility as an HR professional to say, listen, if we go through this route, this is what's going to happen. These are the consequences and financial implication. This is how much it's going to cost the company. Because then that way the light flickers. And you know, you're like, okay, let's weigh our option. But if you're an HR person, I'm not saying people must be disrespectful to clients. Definitely not what I'm saying. If you want to be a trusted partner or partner can be internal HR, same as us being an external. If you want to be trusted, you need to always communicate. You need to always give facts, so that when somebody still says to you, okay, no, continue with this direction, they are aware that if I go through this direction, this is what's going to happen. So then what we're saying, HR is not easy. HR is difficult. But you just need to love what you're doing. You need to be passionate about what you're doing. You need to understand about, which particular function you want to go into as an HR person. Alright, so with all that being said, that's it from us. Let's talk with LHS. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And we also would like to hear a bit from you guys and share your comments with us. Thank you. Bye.